Hey, my name is Nadia, and if you don't know me but you clicked on this video, then hi, thanks for clicking on the video. So today I'm gonna be bringing you along with me whilst I prep for Kawafitober, which is a Drawtober prompt list that I made, and if you want to know more about that, then you can watch the video I posted last Thursday. This video is going to be all about my prepping for that. When I first started doing Drawtober, I used to think that you weren't allowed to prep and that you had to do it all on the day as it happened, and that is just a surefire way to burn yourself out. So we are going to be getting ready for a month of intense drawing. We're going to talk about medium and benefits of both traditional and digital, thumbnailing, reference collecting, all that fun stuff, and yeah, hopefully that will be helpful for you guys. Maybe you can do some of this stuff as well, and yeah, let's just get right into it. For most of my Drawtobers, I've always gone digital because I don't know where I'm going to be, but my iPad can always be with me. If I have to end up randomly going away somewhere, or I just find myself in a bit of a tricky predicament with plans for that day, I can usually rig my iPad and just find some time to do it. You obviously don't have that same safety with traditional media because you need a lot of stuff and you kind of need your dedicated workspace to do that. I am kind of leaning towards traditional media this year. I've obviously been really enjoying doing more of it, and I kind of want to see what would happen if I did commit to it for the whole month. I might kind of do it a bit half traditional, half digital. I'm going to aim for fully traditional, but we'll see. Let's talk about materials. So, paint-wise, I'm thinking my acrylic gouache by Holbein. As you can see, I've really not dived into these very much. I kind of want to get to know them a bit more. So I think I'll be using these. Very cool. I also want to carry on using my Himi jelly gouache paints that they sent. It just comes like this. I mean, they come covered, but yeah. I just kind of love how they're just there, ready to go. You can just dip your paintbrush in, and yeah, I really like these paints. I also might use my alcohol markers, also by Himi. I love these things so much. Still kind of getting used to them, but maybe these could be good on days where I don't want to get the whole paint situation out. No matter if I use my alcohol markers or my paint, I will definitely be using my Prismacolors. These are just really good for the final touches on traditional art. Regarding paper, I kind of really want to buy some actual sheets of paper and then have a whole stack of originals rather than it being in a book. So I'll bring you along on that journey. So they didn't quite have the paper that I was looking for at Fred Aldous, but because I'm going to Casa anyway, I thought I would just head there first and see if they have anything. I really wanted to get the Arches paper, but it's just so expensive, and I don't think it's going to make me better at painting. So before I start Kawafitober, I like to go through the prompt and collect reference images. That might be actual images of like the real life thing, like pictures of actual bugs or actual logs or cats or whatever. But it's also a good place for me to collect images of how other illustrators interpret these real life objects. So as you can see, I'm basically just going through the prompts and I'm just collecting whatever kind of sparks any bit of interest in me. For example, with the sock demon, I was saving pictures of demons and then I was saving pictures of socks, and then I just thought, oh, I'll write sock demon, see what came up, and then noticed that it's coming up with like sock puppets, and I just like hadn't thought about it in that way. So it's like good to just go through, and like sometimes you think you have like a set idea about how you're going to approach something, but there's one picture that might spark a different idea. You don't need to reference for every single prompt. Obviously there's some that you won't need to. If you just go through the ones that maybe you're like least sure about and just collect some images for that, it'll just be really helpful when you come to thumbnail and when you come to actually draw. So yeah, that's basically this bit. There's not much to it. It's just Pinteresting. So now I'm gonna move on to creating some really loose thumbnails for some of the first prompts. Okay, so thumbnailing. The key to thumbnails is like not getting bogged down in details, which is why I like to use a pen. It stops you being able to try and sketch things out too much. It's more about getting the composition of things right. So yeah, just simply I will start with one. It's you as a goblin. At this point, I would have up my Pinterest board of my images just to help me out a little bit. But I've drawn goblins many times, so I don't feel the need as much with this one. I kind of just want it to be simple, easy way to start the month. So this is like it. You want them to be like super quick. Maybe like I could draw them with Patcha, but Patcha's like some sort of like scary goblin wolf version of herself. So yeah, these aren't like by any means how the drawing will end up looking. It's just more to like give you an idea of how you could approach the drawing, and it doesn't take loads of time for you to figure out. Maybe I could redraw this one so I have a better idea of Patcha. Maybe she could be huge. I could just even maybe be sat on her. Like, this is bad drawing. But it's literally just to try and get the idea in my head. Obviously, I wouldn't cut my head off at the top. So already I assumed that I was definitely going to do this, and now just through a few little quick sketches, I've kind of realised that I actually would way prefer to explore this idea, and this doesn't happen unless you give yourself the freedom of doing loads of bad drawings. So my friends, that is how I prep for Kawafitober. This is like really helpful. You don't have to do it, but it is super helpful to just make the whole month of October a little bit less daunting. Please don't feel pressured to do every single prompt. You don't have to do every single prompt. You could even just go through it and pick your favourites and do that. It is supposed to be a month of fun and a month of creativity. It's not supposed to be something that tires you out or burns you out or makes you feel bad. So just look after yourself and don't push yourself to do things that you can't do. There's no pressure. It's all just about trying to be consistent in one way or another. So whatever that looks like to you, that's okay, and that's good. I hope this is kind of helpful to give you some ideas on how you can prepare and how you can make it a little bit easier on yourself. It really does help just kind of remove that blank page fear. I mean, some people even complete prompts before. Like, I know there's a lot of people that will already now in September be doing the illustrations to post. So if there's a day maybe that you know you're going to be really busy, you could do the illustration now or the piece of work now and have that already like kind of ready. But yeah, you can do whatever you need to do to make it easier, and there's no wrong way of doing things, so just do you. Yeah, if you would like to see more from me, if you would like stickers every month, if you would like digital downloads, then please head over to my Patreon. It is down in my description box. And also make sure to join the Little Guy Art Club, which is my Discord that I made kind of specifically for Kawafitober, for us to just like talk it out, share our ideas, share our works and connect. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day. I hope you see a really cute dog on the street, and I hope that it doesn't rain unless you're inside, and then I hope it rains loads. And then you can be super cozy. Yeah, I'll see you next week. Bye!